Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, The DIY Crafty Muse. My name is Vicki and today I'm going to share with you a few ideas on how I cleaned up a little bit of my DIY craft room clutter. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you can see future videos. If you're not new and you're already a subscriber, welcome back and let's get started. Today we're going to tackle all of those small little items that kind of float around. They usually come in their own packages, or sometimes they have a package and later on I'm going to do twine. You pull them out of that package and then they just kind of float around. So today we're going to focus on some of those smaller little items and how can we get them into maybe a larger package. And we're going to start with some of these little things like push pins and some different hardware and magnets, things that I use throughout my DIYs, and they come in some of these containers, but sometimes it's just not easy to, I set it down someplace and then I can't find it. I picked up this little organizer. I found this in the hardware section at the Dollar Tree. It was $1 and I thought it'd be perfect for some of these little items like those push pins and magnets and other hardware. So I started by looking at the different compartment sizes. Now this may work for you. I actually picked up a couple more. After I did this video, I went back because I didn't realize just how many small little items I had. So I started by putting in some of the different hardware. I used a little bit of Scotch tape, put it on the compartment, just on the lid that I was above the compartment I was using, and just wrote the labels down if it applied, right? Some of it you can visually see what it is. The first pieces that I put in there was some washers that I use in some of my DIYs, and then as well as some screws, some wood screws that I've used in the past. With that Scotch tape, I just put that on there, and with a Sharpie I wrote on the actual tape, not the lid, so that way if I want to switch this around later on I can do that, but I also know the size. Once you've got all these items in there, again, for some of the items I use that Scotch tape, and with Sharpie I wrote on there. That of course is if I figure out later on that I need to switch this around, then I can change it out. If you know that you're gonna leave it on there, I recommend using just a little bit of clear nail polish to go over that Sharpie just so it doesn't wash off or get smudged. So for this next organizational project, the container itself is free. So, well, except for the cost of when I originally bought it from the grocery store, I'm just using this canister that I had left over from hot cocoa. You could also use a coffee canister. Whatever, it's a little bit larger, and I'm going to be storing some of my twine, not the bulky twine, but the more cylinder type twine. So use what you have. This worked out just fine for me, but I would think a coffee can would work just fine too. So for this one, again, after I cleaned out the canister and got all of the excess residue in there out, I wiped it down, make sure it was nice and dry, and now I'm just giving it a coat of my black chalk paint. once my paint was dry, I just prepped the twine that I had. I'm gonna throw that in there. And then for the lid, I'm gonna grab, I have this tool, I think I've mentioned it in some of my other videos. It's called a crocodile. I'll link it into the description if you don't have one. For this, I just use it. There's a little hole punch that is a little bit stronger. It can go through metal. Obviously this is plastic, so it doesn't have to be too strong. You might be able to do this with a hole punch, but if not, you can always just poke a little bit of a hole through it with a pin or a knife and try to make that hole a little bit bigger. Use what you have. I'll link the crocodile in the description if you need it. I'm just using a little bit of tape on each of the ends of the twine so I can feed it through the holes that I just made in the lid, and it's as simple as that. Once you've got this twine through the holes there, you now have, well, and this is my Christmas twine that I use. It's just some baker's twine and some different Christmas colors. I use it throughout the year as well, but I've got some of the larger rolls of just that regular twine that I throw in another glass container. But this kind of keeps all of my Christmas twine in one container, and it's as simple as that. All right. For this next project, I'm going to use two of my favorite things that I like to craft with and that I always find at the Dollar Tree that I want to buy and I never have a use for it. So the first thing is these glass jars. So I always see these glass jars at the Dollar Tree, and I've used them in a couple different things before, but I don't know, this project, or thinking about organizing these wooden beads that I've got when I craft was super exciting for me. I don't know why. I think these jars are just so cute. And I found this little tray at the Dollar Tree as well, and all three of these jars fit perfectly. I'm going to use this. I'm trying to redo a little bit of my craft area, so I was super excited about being able to put these in almost like a display. So they looked nice, and so when I went to go grab them, they were organized, and it just, I don't know, they looked nice. Anyways, I do recommend that you wash these jars. I originally, when I bought these, I'm going to cut back and forth here in a little bit where I can show the difference. I actually had thought these were like a frosted type glass when I first bought them, and then as I was touching them, there was a little bit of a residue there. So give these a good wipe down with some soap and hot water. It came off just fine, and you'll see the difference between kind of that frosted look, and they were nice and clear once they were clean. Here's that comparison between the two. Here, I just wanted to show you how cloudy or how frosty it originally looked, and then how crystal clear they are once you get those washed. All right, so this next part of the project is super simple. I just have the three variations of the wood beads, so this worked out with the little tray for me right now. Obviously, as I get more, I will probably add more jars. And I might have to repurpose these three original jars maybe to my bathroom decor. I think these would be great for, cotton balls and Q-tips and that. So This cute little tray will definitely get some use. I think this turned out so cute. I think it is so functional and adorable at the same time. All right. Thank you so much for holding out to the very, very end. This is our final organization project. As some of you may know, I am a Chalk Couture designer. I've been doing Chalk Couture for a very long time, so I have quite the collection. And for some of these smaller stencils, these are the minis, I picked up this CD case. I ordered this off of Amazon. I'll link it in the description box, but I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I use some photo albums and artist albums for some of my larger ones. I'll show you what that looks like. But this CD organizer was perfect. I mean, I don't know about you. You might even have some of these CD cases somewhere in your storage, somewhere that you can repurpose. This is a look at, like I said, I use these larger photo albums and artist albums. Even for some of my larger Chalk Couture stencils, I just hang them from these little rings that I get at the Dollar Tree. It just helps keep them organized and in one spot. I also have, there are these canvas, like plastic bags that Chalk Couture sells, that I use those when I need to like bring them someplace as well. It has a really large pocket and then a smaller pocket you can put some of like the 8x12s in. What I'm showing you now, this is the photo albums that I use for some of the 8x12s or smaller. If they're smaller, I just kind of put them into the photo album slot. If they're able to get back into the package, I just kind of put them in there, and they stay safe. They're kind of pressed in between those pages, so I don't have to worry about them wrinkling or crinkling. You may also have noticed that I have two different colors. So the red is all my holiday, and then the black is just sort of everyday. Thank you so much for watching and spending a part of your day with me. I hope this inspires you for some of your organizational projects. And if you haven't already done so, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as that bell and smashing that like button so you can see future videos.